Hello YouTubers, it's common Thursday night here, or late evening or early evening after work, and I'm just sitting here listening to this album by the Swedish guitar giant Janne Schaffer. It's an album from 1985 called Traffic. Very relaxing and lovely music, as always when Janne Schaffer was involved. But this is not a new record. I've had it for years, but I'm going to turn down the sound so we don't get a copyright strike, and also so you can hear me much clearer. The reason why I started this video is, well, I've got some new records to show, and so I thought, well, why not do it? So be it, so to speak. To put that sleeve there. First of all, I got another album in the series of girl beat music compilations that Ace International have been issuing the last couple of years. We got Swedish music, we got Japanese no, that's another company. But we got Italian music, French music with girls and girl groups. This is a Spanish Beat Girls Español, 1960s she-pop from Spain, on Ace International, and they always have this lovely inner sleeve with lots of information and many pictures and so on, lots of info about these artists, and also they are usually pressed in some lovely colored vinyl, and in this case in white vinyl. One thing that's good with them is that, I mean, the texts are always well written, and the picked tracks are often very good. There's a CD version that contains many more tracks than the LP, but I prefer the vinyl for obvious reasons. I have one complaint though. Not sure really whether it's the record companies or the fault or the Spanish sound engineers in the 1960s, is that I think that the bass and the drums are a bit hot on these recordings, in the way that they are a bit recorded too loudly, so they are slightly distorted. And I don't know, I found it on many of the tracks of this album, so I'm not sure whether it's some sort of mistake during the transfer of these original vinyl singles or whatever the reason may be, but still it's great music and great artists, and it's very interesting to listen to, very interesting to read, and a very nice compilation. But that thing about the sound annoyed me slightly. Even, I mean, these are not taken from any original tapes. They are taken from probably cleaned copies of the original vinyl singles, so you never know really. But it's great, and it will be in the collection together with my other Ace International compilations. But yeah, it's not the best one. Not the best one in the whole series, though. Then we have a Swedish star that most people are familiar with, namely the Swedish singer-songwriter Agneta Fältskog, who was, of course, for many years a member of ABBA. Now we heard the news that ABBA are finally going to release some new material. Good for them. I hope they feel that they want to do it because they really think it would be fun, just not because the audience have been nagging them for ages about it. So, but anyway, I've talked about Agneta Fältskog several times in this vlog before. So, and her old original albums are bit by bit, well, one by one, being reissued on vinyl, and the earliest ones, the four first ones, are quite tricky to get hold of on original vinyl. The last one or the one that it wasn't the last one, but the last Swedish one she made when she just had her breakthrough with ABBA, is a bit easier to get hold of. But that has been reissued as well as part of the Record Store Day. I didn't buy it though because I have an original, but I bought this. När en vacker tanke blir en sång, when a beautiful thought turns into a song, originally from 1971, and it's produced by Björn Ulvaeus of ABBA fame, who was also, I think by then, her fresh husband. Also, one of the engineers are Mikael Bettreto, who was to become the ABBA engineer later on. And I have to say, very nice very intricate pop melodies. I think she's very underrated as a pop song composer. I mean, she composed almost all of the songs on this album. There's one exception, and that's an Italian song that got a Swedish lyrics. But she has composed all the songs, often a bit melancholic, but very beautiful, and often not that incredibly simple. I mean, melodies that take their own roots, and in some cases with some good lyrics by herself, and in some cases some bad lyrics by Björn Ulvaeus, and in some cases some great lyrics by Bosse Carlgren, who she would later work with full time on her next album, the album I showed in this channel before. What's it called? 11 kvinnor i ett rum? 10 kvinnor i ett rum? Well, the record she made in 1975. So, this is lovely album. Not all the songs are super brilliant, but there are some really good gems here, where she really impresses as a songwriter, not just as a singer. We all know how good she is at singing from all the numerous ABBA albums, so that's not a surprise, but still. Yeah, this is her 4th album. It was issued when she was 21 years old, so that says how young she was when she started. She was 18, and how active she was. To be quite honest, she was probably the most celebrated songwriter of the 4 ABBA members before ABBA. But then after ABBA, she stopped writing songs. I think it's a bit sad, really. She didn't have any of her songs on any ABBA album. And it wasn't because they weren't good enough. I don't know why. Okay, I'm really waffling on here. I really should get going, or this video will be incredibly long and tedious. The next one is, well, probably the last album of the late, great Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings. This was issued last autumn. I ordered it, but probably not too fast, because it had sold out on vinyl, not just the beautiful limited colored version, but also the black vinyl. So I thought, okay, well, someday I'll get a copy. But now when I went to the city some days ago, I found a copy. But I now realize this is a new pressing, because the first pressing sold out immediately. And I had ordered this from an online store where I buy lots of records, a store that I'm very happy to buy records from. And not even they could provide me last autumn with a copy. They had sold out there too. But now I got a notice that I have in the mail a copy of this album to fetch. So now I will have 2 copies. It's like the old ketchup bottle effect. But I'll give it away, or I'll sell it, or I'll trade it with somebody. It's a great album. Perhaps not her best album. There are some of her albums that I like more, but it's a very nice and a bit touching farewell, especially with the last track, Call on God. And yeah, we'll miss her voice. I haven't found all her records yet, so I still have some to get hold of, so to speak. Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings, Soul of a Woman. The next record is a record that I bought because I thought the idea was so fun. It's the celebrated string quartet, the Kronos Quartet, and they work with trio Dakali from Mali. Dakali from Mali, in a not a concert, but an album where they just create music and play together, and it's a lovely mixture of African folk music and, well, American string quartet music. And well, it is actually as exciting as it sounds, and it looks like this. It's issued by Word Circuit Limited. This is from last year, I think, so it's not super new, but definitely worth checking out, especially if you like both African influences in music and also if you like string quartets, and I'm a great fan of both. So this was perfect for me, and I'm very happy I got it. Okay, there's a Swedish symphonic prog band that started in the early 70s called Uraskaipa. They would later become, well, very popular, and at least in Sweden quite famous with the name Kaipa, based on the members Hans Lundin on the keyboards and Roine Stolt on the electric guitar. They made some very good records in the late 70s, the first one in 1976, that's my favorite though, and then they played until I think they made 5 albums all in all. The 5th one was a bit of more like a synth pop album from the 1980s. I haven't heard that one, so I can't really talk about it. I've only heard their first 3 albums. But then they disbanded, like many bands do, and then they were reformed in the early 2000s with the 2 original members, Roine Stolt and Hans Lundin. After a while, though, they had artistic differences, and Roine Stolt left, so Hans Lundin kept on with other musicians, and he's still playing today. And this is they've been continuing to make albums since 2002, I think. I've heard some of them, not all of them, and this is the latest one, Children of the Sound. The whole album, it's it's a double album, so 4 sides, in total 5 tracks, so the tracks are quite long here. They are between, well, the shortest is, well, just under 7 minutes, and the longest is 17 minutes. But it's a lovely mellow symphonic melodic progressive rock that I mean, it sounds a bit like the sleeve looks. The kind of music that's not really based on aggression. It's a very melodic and easy to enjoy music. So it's well worth having. The funny thing now is that a couple of years ago, Roine Stolt founded his own version of Kaipa together with some other original members. They don't have the same name. There's something else, but with Kaipa in the title, in the name of the band, and they are touring. And also they made touring. This is, I think they made a studio band. This Kaipa today is mainly a studio band. They don't give concerts. But anyway, that band has well, I think last year issued an album too. I've ordered it, so I'm really curious to listen to the difference between Hans Lundin's Kaipa and Roine Stolt's Kaipa. So, but this is what I have for now. Okay, time for some ladies. Always nice. Some quickies with some ladies. First, well, I got 3 ladies from 2 different nationalities. We started in Brazil, where I managed to find 2 new albums, or new to me. They are from the early 80s. Gal Costa. Baby from 19... Wait a minute. Is it from 83? Well, never mind. Very good. And Baby is one of her more famous songs, and very seductive, as Gal Costa is. And, well, I'm very fond of her and her artistry, her voice, and her music. I'm a great fan of Brazilian music, as some of you may know by now. And also I found this Minha Voz, also by Gal Costa. I'm starting to have some of her records from the late 70s and early 80s. I still haven't found the earliest ones from the late 60s, but of course there will always be a hunt for the hidden gems. Okay, and also I found I think it's a compilation with Elis Regina, one of the true queens of Brazilian singing in the 60s, 70s, and early 80s. She passed away way too early. This is a double album on the Fontana label. Well, nothing more to say. I mean, she has this bright energy in her voice that, I mean, Gal Costa's more laid back, a bit more seductive, sexy, but Elis Regina, she had power and energy and a sparkling voice. Yeah, I think a sparkling voice. So I have some, well, bunch of Elis Regina albums, so I didn't have the tracks on this one, so I'm glad I found it. And then I found two albums with another lady favorite, but from France, Sylvie Vartan. And first of all, I found this Japanese pressing of, oh my goodness, I'm supposed to slaughter the name now. Qu'est-ce que fait pleurer le blanc? Sorry if I slaughter, my French is horrible. Looks like this, and it is the Obi Kenobi, the strip here. And funny thing is, it looks like it's some sort of demo press, because it has a white label. You can see that it's a RCA issue, but it doesn't have RCA written on it. Or maybe that's RCA with Japanese in science there. No, not sure. Never mind, it's very good. I'm a great fan of her voice, great artist. And then we have this one, Déraisonnable. Sorry again if there's anybody in France. Well, you feel free to laugh at my horrible French. Although I've studied French for, well, a couple of months back in maybe 20 years ago. But my French teacher said, yo, you got very good pronunciation. The problem was I never understood what I was saying. Never got friends with that language, but it was fun. It was fun. Evening course, French. Nice way to meet interesting people. Right, this is from 1970 Boobly Boo, 79 maybe. Anyway, it's also very good. I'm a very great fan of Sylvie Vartan, so I tend to look for her material from the 60s and 70s mainly. This is one of the later ones, even though I think she's still active today making records. So yeah, I think so. The final record that I'm going to show is an old Kedmon record from on the Kedmon label. You know, Kedmon, they issued lots of poetry, lots of spoken word records in the 50s and 60s mainly, and also the 70s. And I have here a dramatization of Alice in Wonderland from 1958 with Stanley Holloway as the narrator. And that's fine, I think. And Joan Greenwood as Alice. And I have to say that I think it's a bit of a weird pick. I mean, she was a great actress, but she had this quite dark, husky voice, like she smoked lots of cigarettes. And I don't think that's really appropriate for the Alice character to sound so wary. So I mean, it's great, and we have the original illustrations from the book here, including the Mad Hatter that would later be on the Charisma label. You know that. So it's great to have, and it's fun to listen to. I'm a great fan of Alice in Wonderland. That story, it's one of my favorite British stories. But the only thing that I think is a bit weird with this record is the choice of the actress playing Alice. Joan Greenwood, she's great, but maybe not as Alice, not as a young innocent girl. Really, she doesn't sound innocent. She can never sound innocent. Anyway, that's all for now. I hope you found this slightly interesting, and have a great day, and hope to see you soon again. Thanks for watching.